Welcome back, everyone, to the Cancel for Maintenance podcast. If this is your first time joining us, we are a show that takes a behind-the-scenes look into the gritty, non-glamorous life of aircraft maintenance. We share some laughs, impart some wisdom, all in hopes of giving you that split seconds relief in your day that can hopefully prevent a mishap. I am your co-host, Six. Our hosts, MVP and Shoreline, are silently in the back, making sure our faces stay fit for radio and that I don't make a complete fool of myself. Today, we got two return guests, the ever-knowledgeable Stig, Stig Aviation, and always with full of facts, Max of Airplane Facts with Max. Well, welcome back, guys. Glad to have you on the show again.
Glad to be here.
Glad to be here as well.
And introducing a new guest on our show, longtime friend, first-time caller, Brent from Total Aviation. Welcome aboard, Brent.
Hey, how's it going, guys? Thank you for having me.
Hey, we finally actually got together for the first time, and we've kind of been talking about this for some time now. I think ever since Stig first came aboard, but life happens, schedules happen, work happens. So, well, hey, we're finally here and we're finally doing it. So we've done some roundtables in the past, discussing topics, with getting some different perspectives on things. I do have questions regarding y'all's creativity, some of the content stuff you make, and we'll address them as we go along. Same with any topics that kind of just pop up. This is really kind of just a roundtable of different mechanics hearing, saying some things, and discussing stuff that may be pertinent to what's going on in our area. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a fun time.
I know it's going to be fun. You have some of the most professional people that right now around you right here.
I mean,
these are the folks that I look up to and I listen to, and these are my close personal friends. So yeah, I guarantee that.
I'm gonna need some professionalism because I'm definitely not one of the professional people here.
Yeah, so. You are. Stop doing that.
That was like it. That was the cap. That whole lead up to this, that was the cap. Like after that point, like total brain fart. Blank slate the whole way through.
That's how I live my life, dude.
Failing upward, man. I'm forever using
upward,
that.
Failing upward. I love that.
That's how you do it, dude.
I'm forever using that. And I've said that at work once, and I blew everybody's brain. Like, what does that mean? Yeah. And it's like, and I just like pointed at somebody. You see that guy right there? Failing upward.
Yeah, I got a total dad joke for everybody here. I don't know if it's I don't know if it's going to be politically correct or get shut down, but whatever. You guys want to hear it?
Yep.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, you kind of led me with that, so now I got to hear it.
All right. So the dad joke of the day. Let's see. Why do you not blame a lazy person?
Why? Why not?
Because they didn't do anything.
Oh. This guy.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
That's my dad joke of the day.
Nice, Dig. That was good.
Nice.
That's good.
Anyway, proceed.
So, but before we get into like the more serious questions, I just kind of want to ask a little bit about your guys' content. I mean, we've kind of talked about it offline, and Max and Stig, we talked about it briefly in previous episodes, but there's times when I've hit like this air quotes burnout wall where I'm trying to like think of things to kind of convey, but it's just like not happening. I'm just like drawing a full on blank. Have you guys ever ran into something like that?
I mean, for me, yes, right. There's been a bunch of times that I'm sitting around and I think, man, I think I ran out of ideas. I can't think of any way to connect any more of these parts to the Lord of the Rings.
Yes, you can. Why are you even?
No,
you haven't even tapped your potential. Stop.
I know,
Come on,
but
Max.
But then, like, what I was going to say is, like, sometimes I've learned to just kind of not like try to come up with ideas. They just kind of let them happen. Like, so I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, I made a video about battering rams, like Grand, that they used to smash the gates of Minas Tirith. And I wasn't thinking about it originally. And then I saw they had the forward cargo was all tore up, and I saw the battery, and I was like, "Oh, look, a battery!" And I was like, "Battery ram,
battery ram." Yeah,
just kind of like, and I'm like, "All right, they have one of those. I could tie it in, right?"
You know what it is? It's organic. That's what it is. That's why when you watch Max's videos, it's genuinely organic. It's there's no hesitation, and I know for a fact there's no script behind it. It's just genuinely his brain. Just it clicks, and he just starts talking, and all of it just comes out, and then he just hits stop on the video. He's like, "What? What did I just do?"
Yeah,
I want to know how. I want to know how many takes. I want to see the behind the scenes.
I guarantee you, he does none. That's like one take.
No, I can't. No, it's not one take. It's not one take. All right, we'll pull the curtain back a little. It's all right. It's like,
damn, you spoil it for me, Max.
I know, dude. I know. It's like, it might be 3. It might be 3 or 4.
All right.
Because like,
how do you keep the guys away? The noise makers.
It's a middle of night. It's a middle of night in a hangar.
Yeah, it's during lunch break, dude. Nobody's gonna be on the plane during their lunch break. Come on.
So what Max means is when take 3, it's not because he's messed up. It's because he's had so many facts and like, okay, this is the juicy one. Let's post this one.
Yeah. Oh God.
Sure.
You know, it's not like, oh, damn, I screwed up. It was supposed to be this, but I said that. And he just rolls it. It's like, you know what? That didn't feel that well. Let's try this again. And then the one you get is like the banger of the 3.
But still, dude, like the effort, like it still feels like one take, and like that's in one breath. He's going at it.
I mean, it's a talent I didn't know I had. But
which is great. I've tried, honestly. I tried doing it on the episode with you, Max, and I stumbled on my words a little bit. But like, wow, that was actually pretty good. Hell yeah, man!
Yeah.
Totally
it was
totally not what I was going for, but it worked.
But when it comes to like making content for me and like running into like walls, I try not to stress about it. And I just want it to just kind of, I did. There was a time where I was like, man, I got to come up with some ideas before I go to work this week. And then I just kind of was like, nah, you know, it'll happen when it happens.
Max, I'm totally with you on that one. Look, you see my posts. All you guys. You see how far in between I do them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'll go weeks, sometimes a month in between even the post. It's just, you got to get inspired by something. There's got to be that question. Like, I'll get questions and I can just answer them real quick. And I'm like, oh, that's not really inspired to really make a video about it, because pretty much I've addressed those questions throughout other videos. So for me to repeat myself, it'll be like, okay, why am I talking about this once again? Just go watch the other stuff. But there's some questions that really trigger me in a positive way. That's what I meant, by the way, not trigger in a bad way.
Like inspiring.
Yeah, it's like you get into it. You're like, oh man, you know what? I know about the system. I know what it does, but let me dig deeper into it, and that's what I do. Then my OCD takes over, and I'm like, okay, now I need to go dive deep into the ATA chapters, and I gotta dissect it, fine tune it, and understand it completely, which I do. And then I have to bring it back down and dumb it down and make a video on it and explain it in a very just normal format. I don't know. That's the best way I can put it.
You know, I'm going to be completely honest, Stig. Like, I thought, like, the reason why your videos are so far in between is because, like, you speak it like you're talking to mechanics and like, okay, that might be just a wee bit too advanced. Let me just try to dial it down a notch. And then you try again and like, okay, maybe that one's just a little too much again. Or like, you're just trying to find the right video to fit. You know, that's what I think. I think like the knowledge is there and everything's there, and it's just like, you know what, this video doesn't hit, or this picture doesn't hit. I need another job of this specific thing.
Yeah, it takes time, man. Like all of it takes time. Like for my videos, especially, like it's I need time. It doesn't happen in like a one day. Sometimes it happens in one day, and I already have the images that I need, and I can just organically throw it out there. But sometimes I get questions. I'm like, holy cow, I can't really answer that specifically, because not only I don't have the imagery to represent it, but on top of that, I actually need to go research myself and read and educate myself more so I can put it out, you know, logically to the public. Brent, I'm sorry. I apologize. I
No,
interrupted
no,
you.
I'm just saying I admire you guys because you guys do it on multiple platforms, right? You guys are doing TikTok and YouTube and Instagram plus whatever else. Like I'm just doing Instagram for the most part, and that's a lot of work for me. And my content is, as far as technical, it's not even close to you guys.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
messing. I'm just
Brent,
messing around.
Brent is selling himself short.
He
Brent is the
is.
salt of the earth.
No, no, no.
He
I'm just
does
messing
things
around.
that are no. He's not messing around. Brent, stop.
I have don't get me wrong. I got a few videos that I put out that they were meant to, push, a little knee jerk, But
You do. You push the questions. You put out the questions and you say things like, you know what? Let's talk about it. The last one you put out that was the most like really controversial one, which I loved. And
dude,
you used the Airbus
look it
one
up,
man
man.
cockpit thing.
It's 300 comments and going, right? And the
I
thing about
wanted to
it,
keep going.
like if you look at some of the comments, people are attacking me. I'm like, why are you attacking me? I'm just saying that it's impressive that they're doing this. Go attack Airbus. It's not me.
No, it's amazing. The thing is, like, what he put out, it was like a simple video, but it touches you. It touches you in a way where, like, you have to think about it. And that's what Brent does.
I agree. Like Brent's, for those of you guys who have not seen it, Brent with Total Aviation's content, it's like that 3-minute gut punch. Like you're like, you don't. It's that perfect hit that you just like, wow, I can't believe that messed me up. I'm all choked up now. I think one of the best.
He has choked me up so many freaking times. I'm just like, oh my goodness.
I remember
Brent, what did you just do?
Right. I remember the first one that I first saw from Brent with Total. It was about aircraft mechanics. Like, why do we do it? It was like maybe 2 minutes. Had this background music, all somber and stuff, and then just like different clips of different mechanics doing different things. And I think that was just before our first episode with Stig. That's how long ago it was. And I was all choked up, like, holy shit, man! Like, am I really that cool? Like, are aircraft mechanics really that cool? And
you know which one that was? That's where mechanics go when we die.
Yes, that's the one.
Man, yeah.
That's the one. That one got me so much attention. Like, I mean, like, I have colleagues that are like on LinkedIn, right?
Mm-hmm.
And for example, they're like, "Hey, your video's on LinkedIn." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" That they're like, "Oh, this is the one where aircraft mechanics go to die. It's everywhere." I was like, "Oh, okay. I guess that touched somebody."
Yeah, we don't die. We just regroup.
Regroup to the moon.
Yeah, that one hit me hard, and then here comes Stig on the following that, like maybe a couple hours after the fact, and we're both just spinning our wheels about it, like, man, I'm like so fucked up right now. I can't even believe that we're even talking, and then we're talking about this video and all kinds of other stuff. So, yeah, I mean, like, go ahead. Sorry.
The thing for me is like how I started. If you go back on my page far enough, you see I started with photos. Mm-hmm. I used to take pictures of airplanes. My wife bought me a camera, and I'm like, you know what? I don't know what to do with this thing. I'll bring it to work and take pictures. And then as I grew, I think I started in 2016. As Instagram grew and Reels came about and stuff like that, I found a few other mechanics on the platform. One of them was a guy in New York. His name's Daniel. His name's Guess Who, right? And he was posting maintenance pictures and stuff. Like, I'm like, oh, I could do this. But while doing that, I realized that there's a lot of pilot content. Mm-hmm. There's this Pilot Joe, Pilot Dave, Pilot Tom, right? And it's just like pilots, showing what they eat, what they do on a trip. And I'm like, wait, there's no one really showing like airplanes and the insane things that we do to keep these things flying. And then at that point, I think I found Stig, and I was like, oh, this guy's taking it to a whole other level. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Oh my God.
And if you look at my page, like if you look at my stories, for example, I will go through and I will find every maintenance video of every, aircraft maintenance content creator out there in the world, and I'll share it because I want to see us all over the platform. I want the world to want to see us and what we do and what we contribute, because let's be real, no one knows, what we do.
They don't.
They really don't. Yeah,
they don't.
They really don't.
And even flight attendants, they don't even know. Like there's, like one time I remember a flight attendant asked me, she's like, the airplane was grounded. She's like, so where does the airplane go from here? I'm like, you see those really, really big buildings over there? Those hangars, that's where it's going.
Yeah. This ain't flying.
It's not flying.
I noticed that too, like with pilots, not knocking them. I mean, they really dialed in the gimmick. Because I've seen a lot of them with their social media handles, like fly with so and so, take flight with so and so with wings. You know what I mean? Like I love it. It's great. You guys are really nailing it. It's quick to the point. But when it comes to mechanic side, it's like damn near undiscoverable because it's just so small. And likewise with us, when we started our show, we were looking around to see like, okay, who can we mold ourselves from, because we didn't know what the hell we were doing. We were three guys, never even had mics plugged into a computer before. Like that's how green we were. And so we were looking around to see like who can we use as an example to emulate. And the first 300 results that we went looking around with were all pilot related. Or it was like some kind of classroom lecture about aircraft maintenance was really long, like some 3+ hours worth of content. I'm like, okay, this is a little too rough. And how we kind of discovered ourselves was like, well, you know what? Our day kind of sucked. It sucked really bad. And a lot of guys, you might have seen it yourselves, where dudes are just so wrung out from work that they're just maybe a couple seconds away from like not caring anymore. Like they want to see what high-fiving a turboprop is going to feel like.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
You know what I mean? But it was that bad. It was so bad. And so like, I was like, I just want to make people laugh. Like the three of us collectively, like, I just want to make something that'll make people laugh. And it started with memes. And then when we started out with the show, we kind of just spoke in memes, kind of like we had like a whole conversation with just basically us talking like memes. And then at a lot of anger to it, I'll admit to it, a whole lot of anger. And then over time, it was like, you know what, man, like everyone's already collectively pissed, and being pissed off, being like that angry comedy, it didn't really hit for a lot of people. It just kind of made it worse for most people. And so that's where we kind of like, you know, that maybe
because you're feeding the fire.
Yes,
you're putting fuel on the fire. You can't do that.
Right. And that was kind of like our learning point, like, because we did it because talking in anger made us feel better, but it made someone else feel worse. So we kind of reassessed ourselves and dialed it back. It's like, well, what do we really want to do about it? Like, it's making us laugh, sure. Maybe a couple other people with really dark sense of humor, but for the vast majority, it's just kind of like, dude, why are you so pissed? And that's when we kind of just dialed it back, and we unintentionally started going educational about it, but not educational where we're trying to teach you the system, which is what a lot of you guys are for. It's mostly like what happens. What happens beyond the line?
Stig's. Yeah, that's all Stig. Stig's the teacher.
Yes,
I'm not a teacher. God.
Something that for me, something that changed with my content is when I first started making it. If you look at my early videos, I'm just kind of like trying to make really deadpan like jokes, kind of matter of fact. And then it switched to Lord of the Rings, and then over time, people were like, "I'm actually learning stuff about airplanes. This is crazy."
I was going to mention that. I was actually going to mention that, Max.
Yeah, so then I started being like, well, I could be a little bit more detailed on the surface level and actually give a little bit of airplane information,
right?
And also keep my bit, you know, like, so like I can talk about, because I realize that a lot of people watch my content that are aircraft mechanics, but a lot of people watch it that are not, and so like, you know, a lot of people that watch my content don't even know what a thrust reverser is. They're like, is that what that loud sound is when we land? And I'm like, yeah, that's what it is.
So one thing I noticed, and I've been noticing it, like I pay attention to the details, and especially what Max does, and he does it so subtly and so eloquently. I love it. I absolutely love it, because I catch the details. And on top of that, I'm a Lord of the Rings fan as well. So, but this last video, and I've sent you a bunch of videos on a bunch of silly things. But anyway, regardless of that, this last video that Max did, he pointed out a very, very specific component, and actually a very important component within the 737 wheel well. It's regarding to the thrust reverser actuation point.
It was the control valve.
Yeah, he pointed that out, and yeah. But the thing is, it was such a relevant point of information. It was short and sweet, but it allows people to just go out and research. I'm like, what? Wait, what did he just say? What was he talking about? But that component is actually super important, and how he mentioned it, and then he transitioned into something else. It's beautiful. It's uncanny. There's nobody else that can do that. Only Max can do that.
I don't know about that, dude.
I mean,
I'm guaranteed only Max can do that.
Man.
Only Max can do that. Guaranteed.
Dude,
I absolutely guarantee.
I found you on TikTok, and because I just signed up for TikTok one day, someone sent me a message like, "Hey, you should do a TikTok." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll just try it." And I found you on there. I'm like, what is happening?
Right? It's beautiful. It's beautiful.
I'm like, wait, why is he so knowledgeable about Lord of the Rings? This is insane. And he, dude, yeah, it was. I watched like 20 of your videos back to back.
Yeah,
and you don't skip a beat. Like it's like perfect.
But I have been enjoying like lately over the last several months trying to weave in a little bit more like actual aircraft information into the videos, to maybe spread awareness of the industry, or to try to let people know that aircraft mechanics are a thing, because there's people that don't even realize that this is a job.
This is Max. Well, Max, this is a perfect segue for you to just definitely throw out the promo of the fact that FAA literally had you on their podcast.
That was crazy.
This is, I think, the very first aircraft mechanic. I don't know anybody else. I've never seen or heard the FAA, literally the FAA, promote and support an aircraft maintenance technician ever. I've never seen it in my 25 years of my career. This is the first man.
I have an FAA.gov airplane facts with Max page.
Dang, look at you, man!
This guy.
Can we get your autograph, man?
That's crazy, dude.
Speaking of that, off topic, since we're a little bit on the Lord of the Rings, there was this magazine that has a whole collage of different artists who did Lord of the Rings art, and Mr. Max here did the foreword to it.
Yeah.
For those of y'all who have not seen the Instagram or the social media posts lately, and I actually got it. And
did you? It's a good little zine.
It's great. And I was honestly gonna buy it and say, hey man, what's your mailing address? Just have it mailed to you, sign it, and then mail it to me or mail it to us, like 3 copies of it. And it's not because like I just wanna like inflate your ego or anything like that. It's because
I don't have an ego.
Yes, he does. No, just kidding.
Well, the reason why like I specifically want people to sign it is because, or especially like mechanics, is because you're an aircraft mechanic, and it's I'm trying not to get too sentimental here, but it's because it's someone I know who's actually been in the sticks with me, or at least I've done something similar. So for you guys to have been propped up in whatever side of the internet verse you are with, you guys are pretty big. I'm gonna say that. Like
bigger than what? What are you talking about? Big?
I mean, let's face it, man. Like, there's not one aircraft mechanic in this side of the world that doesn't know who you guys are. I'm just being honest. Like, but in the
end of the day, well, what are we? We're mechanics. We're wrenches. Like we're
righty tighty, lefty loosey, dude.
Exactly. We're just people. We're guys.
Right.
Brent is north of me. Max is south of me, and yeah, so we're just people.
You guys didn't mention I'm from Canada. You guys know that, right?
Yeah.
What?
He that AME,
What?
dude.
You know that?
What?
I'm an aircraft maintenance engineer.
Yeah.
Oh
He's that
man.
AME, dude.
Ooh, Brent, you got to do this whole thing. Who was it? Was this Sebastian? It was Sebastian.
Oh yeah, Sebastian. That's
yeah,
right.
He did the whole.
Only fan Cal.
Yeah, only fan Cal. Yeah, Sebastian's awesome. He's a super nice guy.
I worked with Sebastian for quite a few years, actually.
He's such a good guy, man. He's a sweetheart. But he he put out this video the other day. What was it? Comparing what we were called, a mechanic or an engineer.
Yeah, I saw that one.
I was like, and then somehow I got thrown into the mix of this one. I got tagged into this one. I'm like, what do you think? And I'm just like, dude, you can call me Shelly if you want. I could care less. As long as the paycheck don't bounce and I get to fix the airplane and I get to do my job, I could care less what you call me.
So the thing about it, if you guys notice, the rest of the world,
everyone else is engineers, right?
We're all referred to as aircraft maintenance engineers.
Right.
Yeah.
We all have a similar licensing system. I know, I don't know if you guys ever, expanded on it. So in Europe, they follow EASA. Mm-hmm. We have our TCAA, and the TCAA and EASA is pretty much the same as far as how we go about certifying airplanes and stuff like that, right? But the US is a little bit different.
It's a lot.
But essentially, different. A lot of bit different, but we do the same thing.
Right.
Right.
So here's a question about that, right? Since we're talking about differences between FAA, CAA, EASA, and so forth. I know with EASA, you're only allowed to have so many ratings with your certificate. Is that the same with CAA? Or
No, you can have as many as you want. Technically,
I thought the difference was you can maximum have 4 ratings.
I think that's EASA.
Oh yes.
I don't know. I can't speak on that, but in Canada, you can have as many. Like right now in my company, I have 4.
Yeah. With me, I have. On your end, I think they're more. They correlate more with the FAA standards, and they allow you to have more. From the people I've talked to that are on DCGA or I always mispronounce that acronym. DCGA or DCAD. Anyway, EASA or that part of the world, from what I've heard, is the maximum capacity of ratings or aircraft type ratings. I think they can have maximum of 4 or maybe 5. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I want to say it's 5. I think you're right with 5. And so, if you want to get another rating in a say a 6th aircraft, you have to drop one to get the 5th.
Yeah, that's obviously on the USA side, I have goodness, I lost count of the ratings. Some of the stuff I have for the ratings I have is the aircraft don't even exist, but I have the certificates for them. So
I was about to ask you that, since you mentioned 25 years, aren't some of them mothballed for good, or
I have rating. Yeah, they're gone. They don't exist. I have ratings for L1011. I have the GenFem and the ratings for L1011s. The airplane is not. There's only one in existence, so it doesn't exist.
Remember that conversation we had about microfiche?
Yeah.
Oh God. Yes.
Yes. Stig used it.
I believe it, man.
Yeah, I used it.
You have to use the mini projector. You got to wind it up to get it to project.
Just like your old school. If you've ever gone to an old library to find newspaper articles, and that's exactly what I used to do.
Oh yeah. I'm all about it, man. That system just went away when they were teaching me how to fix planes. We don't use these no more. Oh, thank God. They still had the cells. If you guys have ever seen those, where it's these transparent cells that sit on a projector, and it it shoots out to a wall or a screen.
Yeah, the overhead projector.
Yeah, that's it. Well, like they're old as dirt, man. Like the ones like if like 1980s, 1990s elementary school type projector.
Elementary school stuff, yeah.
That's good stuff. They used those in my A&P school.
Did they?
Yeah, I was like, man, I haven't seen one of these in a minute.
But yeah,
it works. I mean, the only qualification that really matters is that you have your Q400 qualification.
Then I'm failing there on that one. You guys got to beat.
I failed. Yeah, I'm totally failing on that one.
Run, boys, run. Just run away.
I'm totally running.
No, but A&P, you're licensed to work on any aircraft technically, right? But then it's up to the individual company that you work for's maintenance program to qualify you on specific types. Right?
This is true.
I feel like that's the biggest difference between them in terms of like qualifications, right? Because but how do you get qualified for a different aircraft type? Is that through your company, or is that like how do you get your, let's say you're only qualified on 737s and you need to get qualified on a 777. Like how do you go about getting that qualification?
That's pretty much your company.
Oh,
so that's your company. So pretty much, say my airline buys a new type.
Yeah.
Right. Say that, like, for example, when we got 787s, 787s showed up, and in order for us to release this airplane, we call it's called an aircraft. It's called an ACA. And that's the authority that you need to release that aircraft. But in order to get that authority, you need to do a type rating. And in the case of the 787, it was 8 weeks.
8 weeks. Wow.
You had the 8 week. Wait, you had the 8 week class?
So in Canada, we do 8 weeks. YASA, they do 10 because they do a 2 week practical. My practical is essentially a walk around the aircraft for the most part. But in YASA, they do 10 weeks. We also we do exams. We do closed booked exams. So we sit in like sterile environments, and we got to get our pass rate 70%. Yeah, so
ours was different.
Yeah,
ours was different, Brent. We did ours. I had the 4 week course for the 787, but then again, I took an additional course for the avionics systems for the 787. So count it as a 5 week course altogether. But this is getting type rated for -8, -9s plus avionics certification.
Yeah. So like us, like our license is broken down in Canada into essentially 3 licenses. So avionics is an E license. Mechanics were M2. There's M1, M2. M1 is for essentially GA, anything under 14,000 pounds or something like that. So I'm an M2, and then for sheet metal structures, the airframe of the airplane, of the aircraft, that's an S license. Right. So that's how we're broken down here. So the M2, the mechanic, which is me, we release the airplane for flight. We're the only ones that can actually certify an airplane airworthy.
Huh.
Right.
You actually answered my questions just before I asked it, because I know EASA has like 15 different little certificates. I mean, they have the main ones, right? A1, A2, B1, B2, but I think they have like a whole slew of like little ones.
Bunch, yeah. So with ours, so I can certify the airplane. I release the airplane for flight. The E license, I can essentially do a lot of the tasks that they do, with exception of the intricate stuff, like say opening up a box. Right? I can't get into a box and start messing around, or there's other things that we can't do. And when then like the structure is part of it, well, everybody knows those guys are wizards. Those guys belong in the Lord of the Rings because they do some magical shit.
Right? That reminds me, who's a really good one who just really blew me away with her work was Alyssa from what was her tag?
Alyssa Lockwood. He just actually opened up her own brand new engine shop.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, did you see that? She got promoted. First of all, congratulations to her. She's epic mechanic, strictly power plant, and she's also does awesome sheet metal work.
Right.
But she got promoted into a big engine shop. So she is in charge of the whole Leap 1B, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Leap 1B engine shop. Very cool.
Yeah. And that's a big step, especially for anybody. And then like some of this like sheet metal work that she's done, like you see like this huge hole, and like Brent was saying, like these guys can like forge anything out of anything. Like here's a strip of air, let's turn this into a sword. I'm like, how did you do that? The structures guys, man, I give them all the props, because I the most I've ever done was like fiberglass patches. I think the most intricate thing I've ever done was like a splash mold. Like, but that was like, oh my God, look at me, I'm so cool. And then you have other guys who do this in their sleep. I'm like, man, I hate you. I mean, I do, but I do, but I don't, because that's like some real intricate work. And like, depending on what depending on what medium you're working with or what section you're working with, your tolerances are like so tight, so like.
Okay. So you brought that up. And so now I got to bring this up. So you bring up structures. Now I got to bring up avionics. Mm-hmm. So lately there's been a big upspring in avionics, because avionics is the future of aviation.
Yes.
No matter what you say and which way you point it at, avionics is the future of aircraft maintenance. Yeah. So lately there's a lovely, lovely guy, man. He his name, well, on social, his name is Brilliant Spark, and there's two guys actually. Awesome. Brilliant Spark and Stan, Avionics Stan.
Yeah.
So these two guys are the forefront of avionics aviation. These guys are literally like badasses, man. They like the things they put out, the things they show, they talk about. Holy cow! Just phenomenal. You got to check those things out. It's like, if anybody's listening, go check those out. Avionics Stan and Brilliant Spark. These guys are just top-notch, smart people. They know what they're talking about, and they show the work. And it's like, I learn from them.
Oh, most
they're
definitely.
Fantastic.
Most definitely.
Yeah, they're good.
Like speaking of that, man, like you mentioned, avionics is the wave of the future. Like when I started working on my first fixed wing plane, that was almost 65% of all my inspections was avionics stuff. And me personally, I'm an engine dude. Like I love engines. I can tell you all the live long day about engines. And then they say like, hey, I need you to inspect this wire splice, or I need you to inspect this back shell. Like, what the hell is that? Right. So I'm like combing through this thing like this whole library of stuff to figure out like, what exactly am I looking at? What am I inspecting? I mean, it's one thing to do the work, it's another thing to inspect someone else's work. So you kind of have to have this mode of trust. But when some person could be lying to my face and I totally wouldn't know the difference. Like, yeah, it's supposed to look like that. Okay. That sounds right. But yeah, avionics is 100% the wave of the future, as Stig said. And as Brent mentioned some time ago, AI is fast becoming a big thing. And I think we mentioned with one of Brent's posts with Airbus and AI. I mean, it's almost like a cheat code. Like we only need one pilot nowadays, and that's just the pilot's the fail safe, and the AI is the real pilot.
So no one roasts you on this post. I hope this doesn't start a beehive of backlash. But I'm just saying, like what I said in my post, I don't think we're gonna go to a single pilot within the next 5 years. I think it's gonna be over 20 years.
Yeah, right? I don't foresee that happening anytime soon at all.
Right.
No.
It's not something that's going to happen overnight, and it's not going to come to commercial aviation first. It's going to go to cargo.
Brent, do you want to talk about what we talk about?
Yeah, sure. Let's hit it.
So me and Brent had a conversation. Actually, Max, you'd probably be a fan of this. Right. Max, do you remember a movie called The Fifth Element?
I've never seen it.
Lies.
I haven't seen like any movies. You can't ask me about. There's 3 movies you can ask me about. That's it.
Oh
wow, you've never seen The Fifth Element?
You never
No,
seen
I know.
Fifth Element?
It's got Bruce Willis. I know that.
Yeah.
It's got Mila
Yeah.
Jovovich, man.
I don't know who that is.
Okay,
Oh
well,
man,
that's on
Does
your
she
to-do
play-
list now, Max.
Does she play tennis?
No. That's Anna Kournikova.
Oh, yeah. Okay, all right.
Anyway.
Watch The Fifth Element. I'll put it on my list. All right, continue.
Yeah, it's on HBO Max, man.
All right, cool, easy. All right, continue. What were you saying?
Anyways,
Steve?
go ahead.
Me and Brent were having a conversation, and we were talking, and obviously the video put out, it was very significant because it talked about coming in coming days, future. We're talking 20, 30 years ahead here now. Yeah, eventually everything's going to become automated. Pilots, it's going to turn into a single pilot format. That it's inevitable. Technology is moving in that direction, and you cannot stop technology. It's going to happen. Yeah, obviously you can have people on the ground monitoring. You might even have pilots remotely flying aircraft. But the comical sense of what me and Brent were talking about, which is going back to the movie. If you guys, if anybody's actually seen the movie, is the sense of where you're no longer going to have pilots, or not pilots, just accommodations. You're not going to need flight attendants. You're not going to need anything. People are just going to walk on board, get into a pod, get inside of a pod, sleep, and then airplane will get it to its destination. You'll wake up out of your pod and get right back out. It's an interesting, weird future, but I don't know. I'm just speaking in terms of, Brent, help me out here.
Listen, all I'm saying, listen, if I could do that right now, I would. I've been in the industry for 17 years, and I don't enjoy flying like I used to. I just want to get there.
Yes, I'm the same
Right.
way.
So if you can put me in a pod and put me to sleep right now, and then I wake up and I'm on the beach having a beer, oh yeah, I'm down. Sign me up.
Right.
Right. But what Stig's pretty much trying to say is that's where we're heading. That's just inevitable, right? That's look at the technologies that these companies are pushing, right? I would like some of the listeners actually to go and read up what Airbus is doing with their Project Dragonfly and Project Vertex. It's cool. Like, there's one system that the 350 has right now that a lot of people probably don't know that they have. They have something called an emergency descent. And the airplane will automatically, if the airplane depressurizes, if the cabin altitude reaches 14,000 feet, it will automatically tune the transponder to 7,700, and it will descend. It would automatically deploy the spoilers, turn on the autopilot if it's off, turn on the auto throttle if it's off, and automatically descend to a breathable altitude. Taking into thing that terrain, so it won't just crash into terrain. It knows where it's going and it's going to stay above it to save the crew from potential hypoxia. This is on the 350 right now.
It's perfect.
It's on the airplane.
Yep, he's absolutely right. And just to double back on that, on the Boeing side of things, which me and Brent as well have talked about with the landing gear on takeoff. Let's talk about takeoff.
Mm-hmm.
Aircraft takes off. The Boeing 787 takes off, and the usual on any other aircraft. As soon as V1 rotates and you're going to take off, pilot reaches for the gear handle to go to gear up. So here's an interesting fact for the 787. That aircraft has become so smart. The technology has become so intricate that when that aircraft does reach a certain airspeed and certain altitude, the gear doors will automatically drop. No pilot input, no touching of the gear handle. The gear doors will just drop automatically. And the airplane will assume that, okay, this is the procedure, and the pilot is going to actuate the handle within the flight deck to go gear up, which will push the gear up, obviously. But the thing is, the aircraft anticipates this. It does not even hesitate. It will just drop the gear doors for the pilot. It doesn't wait for the pilot's input. So this is the level of technology we're getting at. Make sense?
I believe you, man. Like
crazy,
both. Go ahead. Sorry.
the crazy thing about it that this is commercial aviation. We're not even talking about general aviation.
Yeah.
They take it with Gulfstream and Global, and Bombardier, the Global Expresses, and they got that little Cirrus thing with their Garmin 1000s. Like the things that they're doing in general aviation, it's way more advanced than commercial because they can get away with it there.
So I've heard some. I don't know where I read this, but it was something in the line of general aviation when they're testing this type of GPS. Like the aircraft has GPS to tell it where it is, but they have the runway have like these different GPS points. So the pilot all he has to do is just press a button, and the aircraft will kind of find these GPS points and it'll land itself in like perfect.
So I know, like commercial right now, they have their RNAV approaches, which is essentially a GPS approach. So it's an ILS approach, but without the ILS, it's GPS. But they can't let the aircraft go to the ground, do a full auto land. They have to disengage at minimums, whatever their minimum height is. Right? Only an ILS can do a full touch the wheel. Like Cat 3 can do a touch the wheel on the ground, zero viz. But that's not saying that the GPS can't do it.
Right. And this is commercial we're talking, right?
This is commercial I'm talking here.
Okay.
But GA, they can do whatever they want.
Right. And I want to say there's a system that does it. I mean, the GPS already can do it now, but I think, like you mentioned, for a commercial, the regulations don't allow it. But I swear I got to find this article or how I found it. But yeah, like the general aviation dudes, like they just tell the GPS to land plane and this thing will figure out where it's at, how long the runway is, the fuel to weight and all that stuff, and touch down on the wheels.
Brent, the airplane, the one we were talking about, what's the name of that airplane that does that actually? The one push of a button, they will actually drop the flaps and do all the things?
I think it's a Cirrus.
That sounds like Cirrus. Sounds like something they do.
Right.
Yeah. So that one, you push the button, it finds a suitable airport for its needs. It will communicate with the air traffic controllers. It will lower the flaps and lower the gear, land the airplane, automatically brake, do everything. Like it's crazy.
Nice.
So, is it the SR-22?
I don't know if it's that. I think it could be. I don't know. I'm not sure. My GA stuff is very limited.
Mine is too.
Same.
Let's not even talk about GA. Brent,
nobody cares about GA.
No. I'm not talking about that. But I'm just saying, technology-wise. I think I remember you mentioned something about the A350, where of the braking and the turnoff from the runway. Talk about that.
The 350 and the 380 have a system, right? I might be wrong how I'm explaining how it works, but pretty much. So they look on they get a map of the airport on approach of the runway, and they have all the high speed exits and blah, blah, blah. So you can go on this display, tell the airplane, say, hey, I want to get off on high speed exit, say Hotel 3. You highlight that. The airplane, when it lands, will brake down to 10 knots to that exit. It automatically brakes. So the A380 has it and the A350 has it. So a lot of times when you see, right, don't kill me for this, fly boys, but a lot of times like these fancy Airbuses, the 350 and the 380, when the plane lands, it's the airplane doing all the braking. It will brake down to 10 knots to that exit. Whatever exit you want, it will brake to that point.
Really?
That's cool.
Dude, listen, Airbus, they're doing some cool shit, man. They're doing some wild stuff.
And this is commercial stuff too. That's the crazy part.
This is commercial stuff. Totally cool. Yeah,
this is commercial. They're doing some wild stuff. Like I spent some time in Europe doing some base coverage and for Dreamliners. And next to us, there was a 350 that would show up a few times a week. So I got a pretty good tour of that airplane. And listen, beautiful aircraft, like absolutely amazing. Like
that's
I can
insane.
see, like for maintenance, it's a dream. Like everything's there. Like you don't need to plug in a laptop or anything like that. You can do it all on the airplane. Like your maintenance manuals are on the EFB. They're right there.
Wow.
Right. That's insane.
That's cool. That's cool.
To the point that, like, say you want an MEL system, you pull it up and it'll tell you, okay, these are the circuit breakers, electronic circuit breakers you need to pull. It won't pull them to you, but it will bring you to the breaker. So all you have to do is pull them.
That's cool.
Like, it's crazy and I get it. I get why guys like Airbuses. Like I like the 737 Dinosaur because I'm good at it. Right? Let's be honest.
I do love the 37.
Right? Just like Max likes the Q400 because he's good at it.
Right? I never said I was good at it. I just said I liked it.
Right? But you cannot take away from the technology these guys.
This is true. This is very true.
Take that. And the problem is, like, the world doesn't understand aviation. They don't understand. I'm not saying not in a derogatory way. I'm just saying they don't understand how much of aviation as we speak right now is automated.
Yeah, that is true.
They have no idea, right? Like I even had a conversation with my mom, and she was saying, "Oh yeah, the pilot's flying." I'm like, "No, mom, he's not. He's just hanging out. He's just looking at stuff up there."
They're not flying. They're monitoring. They're monitors.
Right? They're making sure everything's okay, right? That stays in line. But
then again, you get so many people getting so disgruntled and angry about this and saying, "No, pilots do this and do that." I'm like, yeah, they do. They're there. They're trained, obviously. When things go wrong, if something goes wrong, yeah, they're trained for that. But otherwise, they're just sitting. They're sitting there. They're watching.
No, but I will never take it away from them because
no, there's no need to.
I experienced an incident in the Caribbean on a very short runway. I went on an AOG to rescue an aircraft, and the aircraft was there for one night. We fixed her stuff. This aircraft was empty, and I'm sitting jump, and we're taking off, and all of a sudden, I remember he said, I think V1 that day was 100 and let's say V1 was like 110.
Mm-hmm.
All of a sudden, I just heard the the speed brake actuator go, and then all of a sudden, bang! Right, we did a rejected takeoff. Right.
Mm-hmm.
What ended up happening is that after I'm like, dude, what happened? He's like, oh, I had an IAS disagree. Right, so we taxi off the runway. Right, we go. I get outside and I look, dude. There's a full nest in the pitot.
What?
A full nest. There's an airplane that crashed in the Caribbean because of this. Bugs in the pitot. There was a full wasp nest in the captain's pitot.
Wow.
Right? If we took off that day, the amount of alarm bells that would have been going off in that airplane would have been insane. And I told this guy, I'm like, hey, we rejected over 100 knots. You should have seen the tires. It looked like alligator skin. Right?
Yeah, bad.
I'm like, dude, I looked at the guy. I'm like, dude, thank you, man. You did an awesome job. You reacted, right? He reacted quickly because at V1, if he went past V1, he would have had to go. That's the rules. And I don't think we had enough stopping distance on this airport. But yeah, I straight up, I told him, thank you. And to this day, this happened like probably 6 or 7 years ago. Every time I see this pilot, we still smile about it.
Like that's crazy, dude.
It's mutual respect at that point.
Yeah, we literally bonded over it, right? So I give these guys a lot of respect. I believe that where we are today, we most definitely need them, right? We most definitely need them. But that being said, in 20 years, with the way things are going right now, I don't know, right? I don't know, because technology.
It's crazy, man. It's come
That's
so
insane.
far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So
Imagine what that technology is going to look like for us. You know what I mean? Like in 20 some plus years, I'm hopeful for this. I doubt it's ever going to happen, but I would 100% like my own R2 droid as a partner mechanic. I really would. Right?
I mean, yes and no.
I mean, in 20 plus years, a belt loader is still going to put a hole in the side of an Airbus.
This is true.
I want the nanobots in place in me. I want to be a techno mechanic. I want nanobots running through. I want to be like Inspector Gadget and literally pull my finger out and a screwdriver pops out.
We want Inspector Gadget, but what's really going to happen is going to be more like Vader. You know what I mean? You'd just be like a hodgepodge of machines, that don't agree with each other. Like, I don't know what I'm doing.
I'm totally okay with this.
Have you guys seen the system? I don't know if it's Boeing that has it, but it's essentially like a goggles.
Yeah.
And you walk up to the aircraft. Say, for example, you're changing a tire. You tried it?
We did this. We did the run through within our company, and we did the testing version of it. It's more for automotive. They're doing this from automotive. Military is using this. United States Air Force, I believe, is using this at the moment. Boeing is doing it, but in a very selective few things. Right. But commercial use, like commercial aircraft use, not there yet. The technology is not there yet. But it's coming. It's coming. The whole visor with digital format but it's not practical. It really is not practical. What, you're going to walk up to a landing gear? Yes. Okay. It's going to point out Zerk fittings for you, for example, for grease fittings. Are you going to really use that? No, you're not, because it's not practical. You're going to walk up to an aircraft. You're going to get dirty. You're going to damage the equipment. And this equipment is not cheap. You're talking about thousands and thousands of dollars.
The first thing that's going to happen is going to get covered in 33 grease.
Yep.
Well, okay, exactly. but okay, so the silver lining on this. So this technology is useful. It's good. My suggestion, whoever is listening, or Boeing, Airbus, whatever, I don't care. The point of the technology is it's better used for troubleshooting.
Yes. That's
the point of this technology. The technology is not for the what do you call it? The mundane tasks of, I need to know how to change a tire or lubricate a landing gear. No, you don't need that. That's simple, basic maintenance. Go read and open up the manual and look at the pictures and actually read. But when it comes down to the actual troubleshooting portion of it, this is where this technology can get really, really, really cool, because now you're interacting with software and looking at the technology and looking at, let's say, TSMs or FIMs, and just understanding where and how the faults are being created and how to properly diagnose the aircraft. Yeah. I think that's where it really will shine really a lot.
That this is a good segue too, because you mentioned like the troubleshooting steps. Myself, MVP, and Shoreline, we've always said like troubleshooting is a skill that we need to keep, right? And especially with y'all's content and your facts and your videos and how-tos. Have you guys ever had to deal with somebody who just wants to play stump the chump? You know what I mean? Like they just have to be the smart one in the room.
Well, that comes natural in our industry, sadly.
Yeah, lots of times.
That happens all the time.
There's a lot of that. So, so if those types how I deal with it, I sit back and I'm like, go right ahead, man. Just do what you got to do.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, I love how you said that. Brent, I love how you said that, because that's exactly what I do. Like at one point or another, if you're trying to do something and you're trying to like move and properly troubleshoot, and somebody is just headbutting you and just doing this and that and other, and you're like, okay, fine, go ahead, do your thing. Let's see where you end up. And Max, tell him what ends up happening.
You fail
when
upwards.
Somebody does that.
You become a supervisor.
You fail upwards.
Yes, you get promoted.
Yeah, you get promoted. No, for me, I like to approach situations like that, that I don't. I kind of like to approach situations that I don't really know anything. It's kind of
100%
when I'm working with a lot of people, because I'm really lucky where I work in that I work with a lot of people that have a lot of experience, and I'm able to learn a lot from just kind of asking them their questions or my questions, asking them my questions, and getting a better understanding of how they approach the situations,
Right.
Even though I've been doing this a number of years, a lot of the guys I work with have 40 years in the industry, and they've seen it all,
Mm-hmm. And that's more or less how I deal with it too, especially because nowadays I work as an auditor or an inspector, and my job's to kind of just trust in you, trust but verify more than anything. And sometimes I'm called out to do audits on systems I've never seen before, whatever the case may be. Instead of just flat out saying, hey, I have no fucking clue what I'm doing, please accept my audit, I would just kind of dial back to the basics of things. Tell me what this is. How did you do it? Where did you find it? What did you use to fix it? What says this is cool for you to fix it? Can you show me what you did? Right? And stuff like that. Just open-ended questions where it lets them explain what they did, and they kind of let them tattletale on themselves, if any more than anything. And when I ask it like that, if their story sounds legit, right, it's kind of like a sell to me. If they can over explain something, or if they can explain something as a process step, that, okay, this guy could be totally lying to my face, but he sounds like he knows what he's doing. And versus someone who just kind of scratches his head, hold on, let me flip to this real quick, or whatever. I'm like, okay, but did you really do it that way though, or are you just saying that just to shut me up? So with you guys made that point pretty clear, and it's actually true. There's going to be guys in aviation in general, actually anywhere where you have to get technical, somebody's always going to try to outsmart you. And
100%.
You're cool, do it, go for it, bro. I'm not challenging your intelligence. I'm just saying that your application may not be relevant to what I'm doing.
There's no point in outsmarting one or the other. Mm-hmm. I sit down, even with junior mechanics. Mm-hmm. I've sat down and they've taught me things, and they've paid attention to details that I missed. 100%. And then,
absolutely.
I learn. It's a learning process. You always got to learn.
Mm-hmm. We're always learning.
That's right. What was it? This weekend I was working, and I had nothing but wide bodies. We're working on a 787, and I was with one of our senior mechanics. The guy is just smart. I don't know how to put this. Genius level smart, but eccentric level. I can ask him for an AMM reference. He knows it by heart. That level.
Wow.
But he can't wrench.
He doesn't have to.
Mm.
He doesn't have to. That's the point. Right. He doesn't. He did his job. He did his wrenching duties. At this point, he came to a point where he's so intelligent. He's so smart.
Right.
He can just pinpoint something, and he knows and understands the aircraft. It's what do you call it? 6. You called it. I think one of your past posts, he said the whisperer.
Oh yeah, the plane whisperer. Yeah.
It's one of those guys. It's that you can walk up to an aircraft and just look at it and say, "This is what's wrong," and that's one of the people that. Yeah, and it was beautiful, and I got to sit next to him and talk to him, and he explained as we proceeded doing our operational check. Man, like he's talking, and the more you ask questions to seniors, the more they like to talk, and which is a beautiful thing.
I was on a crew changing a main flap on a 777, which is like it's a pretty involved job, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like the full removal and installation of the flap, you got to manually change it to all these different degrees. It's crazy.
Right.
And I did it with like a pretty green crew, and it took a long time, you know. And then like I don't know, a month or two later, I did it again with like a group of some pretty high time senior guys that are all the plane whisperer types.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like I felt like I was in a ballet. It was just like, this is so easy. Oh my goodness.
I love those. It like makes the hard jobs like just
dude. I was on the lift and I was just like,
it flows.
How are you guys doing this? This is amazing.
Yeah. The thing is that they make it look so easy.
They do, yeah. And you're like, dude, I mean, I'm okay. You know, I'm all right. But they got it down to its science.
Yeah, and then when you're sitting next to these people and you're listening to them and you're watching them, and it's like magic, man. It's magic. And the thing is, the magic is if you're not paying attention and if you're not asking the questions, that magic fades away. Like, whew, gone.
Mm-hmm.
It disappears. It literally disappears. And if you're not there and you're not literally asking those questions and grasping that knowledge out of them, it goes away. It disappears into nothing. And these people will retire. Mm-hmm. And that knowledge and that magic will go with them. So this is why I always encourage, ask questions. Even if it's the dumbest question in the world, please ask the question. The dumbest question that is asked, excuse me, what's that term?
The dumbest question is the one not asked.
There you go. That's the one.
You know, so here's like the one thing that I can really appreciate with today's technology, including social media, for all its quirks and issues, is a lot of stuff like the ones we put out, especially the three of you guys. I'm just gonna polish your ego here real quick. Is you put out these life lessons, however quick and gut punching it is, or how in depth it is, or if it's just like a little quip to kind of help stick in your head. The way it's going right now is they have longevity now. Like it's in the internet and it exists, and it'll probably exist for the next 30 plus years, long after we're too old and busted to hold wrenches anymore.
Like as in, once you post something to the internet, it's there forever.
Yeah.
And now I'm going to stop posting.
Oh, no, don't do that. We need you. This is how it records, man.
I need to know how Lord of the Rings ends in your terms.
We'll get there.
I just want to step away for 1 second. I want to move aside and ask Max a question.
Go for it.
What's up?
Would you consider Lord of the Rings a Christmas movie?
This seems like a trap.
No, this is like legit. They were released during the holidays, so like my family, like right now, we watch it during the holidays. Would you consider?
Yeah, I could. It has some Christmas vibes to it. You know, there's presents. There's the fire in Bag End feels like a Christmas morning to me.
Yeah.
You know, they go on a fun little adventure. Anatar, aka Sauron, was the bringer of gifts. You know, bringing the knowledge to Celebrimbor to forge the rings of power. So yeah, it's kind of got some Christmas vibes to it. Sure.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm just playing Die Hard on repeat right now. So
Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Yeah,
Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie. Don't you dare!
Don't you take that away from me!
Don't you dare!
Statement.
Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Bruce Willis said it himself. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
It is a Christmas movie. I don't care what he said.
Listen here, Bruce. You didn't make this. We didn't make this for you.
Tag Bruce Willis in this. I don't care. It's a Christmas movie.
I'm actually about it. I think I can say Lord of the Rings is a Christmas movie. I can vibe with it.
I can too.
It feels like when I watch it, I feel like it's Christmas morning, So regardless of the content in the movie, it feels like Christmas.
Well, like there's always a good side to it, right? Like it can be bleak, just bleak, and then
but it's so good, dude.
It ends nice. So you know what?
Yeah.
There's death everywhere, but we won. Hey.
Honestly, I've been watching The Hobbit.
Yeah.
And The Hobbit has actually, I've watched it. I think it's the second time I'm watching it now. The series of The Hobbit. I'm enjoying it actually even more. It's like a prequel.
Yeah.
Oh, it is a prequel. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say part 2 was probably my favorite one out of the
I did
3.
like it.
The Desolation of Smog.
Yes.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think I would agree with that.
Yeah.
Wait, Matt.
Probably.
Wait, is that your favorite? Really?
Well, out of the three,
the
for the Hobbit
movies.
No, the Hobbit movies.
Okay.
No. My favorite Lord of the Rings movie is a controversial opinion.
Which is?
It's The Fellowship, dude. Fellowship's the best one, and it used to not be. It used to be Two Towers.
Yep, I was about to say I would totally. I can
Wait,
see.
wait. The Fellowship is the first one, right?
Towers guy.
Yes.
Yeah, Fellowship's the first one. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm with you on that. I like the first one.
The more I get into it, it's my favorite book, and it has since become my favorite movie. Just because I don't know, there's this innocence at the beginning, and there's this loss of it, and then
I agree.
You're watching them kind of really start their character development, and the journey through Moria is it's crazy. It's crazy. Sam, they kill their first orcs, and they go through some really big trials, and it's not these massive armies fighting each other, right? The war hasn't really started at that point. It's just this small band of adventurers against all odds. And it's very personal, and it ends on a low point, at the breaking of the Fellowship and Boromir's death.
This is true.
And so it's you're just and Gandalf, falling in Khazad-dûm, you're just oh man, how are they going to come back from all this?
Doesn't this sound like aircraft maintenance, like our careers, when we started?
This is
right. This is
where my brain goes. Yeah. We're talking about airplanes, dude.
Yeah. So right now we're at the point with Return of the King where we're the Ghost Army. We're the Ghost Army at this point. You know what I mean? We're
I'd let Eric.
We are the ghosts.
Battle.
That's my one favorite part in the whole Return of the King. I mean, besides the end, I love the end. But if I were to pick a favorite moment in Return of the King, it's when they meet the Ghost Army.
When they're traveling through the dim hole.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then that first scene when they, I think this is in the extended edition where they raid the boats to get on the boat.
The Corsairs of Umbar.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think those two scenes really ring for me. And, besides the end is obviously a banger, but as far as Return of the King goes, it's those two scenes. But like you said, I'm really starting to appreciate Fellowship a lot.
Yeah. People hate on Fellowship because it's a lot of walking, but it's arguably the best movie, and the Nazgul are terrifying in it. It's cool.
Yeah, and there was such a gap too. But when in the original theatric release, it just goes death and despair, and then they just vanish. What happened?
Yeah, it's crazy. See, right? This is airplanes. We're talking about airplanes.
Yeah, right. That's kind of like us, right?
We're talking about airplanes.
They're doing great, and they just vanish. Where did they go? I don't know. But look at these dragons, everybody. Well, they weren't dragons, but they were wyverns.
I like how Brent's over here talking about ILS minimums and stuff, and I'm over here I like Fellowship of the Ring a lot.
That's actually cooler, Max. What you talk about is cooler, okay?
I don't know, dude.
ILSs don't bring happiness to the world. They bring happiness to two people in the flight deck.
Well,
Cat 3 that brings happiness to the world.
Yeah, when Cat 3 stops working, people aren't very, very happy when they get diverted.
Yeah, right.
That's true.
So I mentioned about the longevity of social media and stuff. Have you guys ever felt like you're just kind of shouting into the void? You know what I mean? Like,
oh man, bro, thank you.
Oh, did I hit one?
Oh yeah.
I'm airing my
definitely.
insecurities right now. Like,
No, you're not hitting insecurities. You're hitting the nail on the head. You're because that's what I've been doing lately. It's like I feel like I'm shouting out into the void. I don't know. At this point, I don't know what I'm doing. I keep showing, I keep talking, I keep presenting things, but I don't know what it's doing at this point anymore. I don't know what it's doing. I honestly don't know what it's doing at this point. I hope it's working.
Listen, Max is the face of the FAA right now.
He's got the sword, man.
He's got the sword.
He's got the sword.
I mean, I don't know, like, dude. I honestly don't know. Like, yeah, I keep talking. I keep doing things, and the thing with me is, you guys know, I talk. I talk a lot, and I talk to everybody, but I don't know where it's going. I don't know where it's where all this information is flowing into. Is it going into some positive direction? Is it helping?
I
believe so.
You tell me.
I think so. Yeah, I think it is.
I think it's helping. It sure as heck is helping me for sure.
Yeah, no, I think it is, especially like because like you come out with these like really like in-depth videos that a lot of people, especially younger people that are kind of getting into the industry, right? There's not a lot of good, accessible, technical information about aircraft out there. Like there is, like you can find tons of videos on YouTube or whatever that kind of break down 737 systems, but no offense to whoever makes those videos, they're painfully boring sometimes, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times it's using like it's like CBTs basically is what you're watching.
That's what it is.
And you present information about various aircraft systems on various aircraft type in a very like palatable and engaging way that it does not exist on the internet. And so I think there's a lot of younger people that are just now getting into the industry or going to school or curious about aviation as a whole, and they probably see your videos and they're able to maybe get a better understanding, because also A&P schools in the United States don't really go that in depth on like specific commercial aviation systems. Like,
you're true, very true.
You know what I mean? And so like there's, when you get out into the field, you're like, they didn't teach me this. You know, when I went to my first Gin Fam, I didn't even know what a PFD was because they didn't really talk about it in my school. I was like, what's a PFD? Like, and they're like primary flight display. And I'm like, oh, okay. You know? And it's just crazy how there's like this lack of kind of education there. And you kind of fill that role in like a very effective way.
No, he does. And let me add to that. Like, I rather like the way he explains it. It's different to some guy on YouTube that's never actually touched a system.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people that talk about stuff, but you've never interacted with it. You never took it apart. You never troubleshot it. You never rewired it. You never, So it's different when someone's actually dealt with it versus someone's that's just reading, say, the SDS or the flight manual or something like that. Right.
Oh,
It's
man,
completely different. Right.
You really hit the nail on the head right there.
Right.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm like, what Stig's doing, it's phenomenal, and I keep saying that he is the face of us because he's doing what I can't do.
I can't do it.
Right.
No.
So
I send people over to Stig all the time. They're like, "Where can I get some more information about airplane?" I'm like, "Go look at Stig."
The face of the faceless man, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. The turquoise gloved hand.
I actually want him. I want him to get the actual Stig helmet. I want him to wear that white helmet.
It's got to be like what I want. Get like a Tron helmet.
We got to make you some Stig branded gloves.
Yeah,
Dan.
Look, the point. Go ahead. Sorry, I'm sorry. Cut you off.
Did you guys see my newest reel today?
No, I didn't.
Safety wire.
The safety wire, the lock wire.
Yeah.
Oh God! Oh wait a minute, that one. Yes, that was so good.
How many times you got lock wire in your finger?
I lost count.
A lot.
How far?
Yeah.
How far has
Oh,
it gone?
deep. I've had safety wire go through my entire finger. I've had safety wire go through the web between my thumb and my, obviously the web. I know between the web and the index finger, the thumb at the end, index.
Yeah, I've had that
Okay.
too. I know what you mean. It
went right.
sucks.
It went right through it. And
Nice.
guess what I did?
Yeah, you
Pulled
banded it back.
out.
I pulled it out, looked at it. I'm like, okay, cool.
Did you-
Super glue?
Yeah, I was about to say
Keep
super
on-
glue. Did you super glue it?
Yep,
Oh,
super
I
glue.
thought you were going to say you put a little pigtail on your hand.
Might as well, right? It's still good.
Yeah.
That'd be funny. But yeah, no.
But I don't know, man. Again, what you guys are talking about. Thank you so much.
No, you keep doing what you're doing. Even if you think you're talking to avoid, people are listening.
Well, I say that for
It-
all
it-
three
it-
of them, really.
People are always listening. Yeah.
It's all of us. It's all of us. It's honestly, it's not just. It's a combination. It's everybody. It's not just me. It's not Max. It's not Brent. It's
No,
everybody.
there's a lot of us.
There's a lot of us. There's a lot of us. So it's a community. And the thing is, we all are friends. We're all,
Yes.
just because the three of us are here and we're talking, and there's so many more other voices out there. There's so many other good experts out there, good technicians. Man, oh man,
Phenomenal.
so many phenomenal, like smart
Phenomenal
guys
out there.
that they don't even post. They don't do anything. They're just private people. But like the messages I get, oh my goodness.
That's
These
the one
people
right there. That's it right there, you know? Like,
Dude, it's just
especially us, like, for mechanics in general, like, we're very private. It's like we're hermits almost, you know?
yeah,
Like,
we are.
We're Radagast in the woods. Like, we're good, but we just not people-y. You know what I mean?
No, because we understand machines. That's what we're used to. We work on the machine. After the machine is fixed, we just go home. We live our personal lives. But man, you know, we post things and we get relatable content. Like, not content. We get relatable people that message us back because they understand. They
Yes.
see things we'll put out there, and then they talk to us. And like me personally, I talk to every single person that responds to anything, and it's beautiful because these are genuine, hardworking mechanics and people, even enthusiasts. Even when I put out questions, like silly little questions I put out there, you get responses of genuine, heartfelt, inquisitive minds and professionals as well. On top of that, because I get professionals commenting on things like, "Hey, you know, you can put this on email," or even advising me, "Hey, this can be done a little bit differently," teaching me. Dude, it's phenomenal. The industry is so hidden away in an army of mechanics like Brent and Max and Sebastian and like so many other people and Stan. We're pushing it forward. We're pushing it forward. Like, hey, we exist.
Hey, Zeto does some amazing stuff too, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God,
He does
yes.
some amazing stuff too.
And so I think that's what really keeps me going, or at least keeps us going, is like we get these feelings that we're just shouting to the void. It's just nothing. We're throwing stuff in the air and nothing's catching it. And then somebody just messages a question or just messages in general, right? Whether it's a diss or a praise or whatever, like something we said sparked them enough to pull themselves out of their own privacy and interact. That's like celebrity win for me. Like, I say this to you guys, and I probably will do this until my last breath, is you guys are our celebrities, really. Every single mechanic out there that's doing the work, putting their nose to the grindstone, y'all are our celebrities, because you're the ones making the do happen. And we're just a bunch of bobbleheads on this mic, like just trying to recollect all your stories and kind of say it in such a universal way. All three of us, really. And everyone else out there who does post something, we're trying to capture this moment in time that's relatable. And when someone like messages about it, like that hits home, man. Like I'm getting sentimental now, but that's what hits home for me. And it's not like the YouTube call up like, hey, we want to sponsor you, or this video is sponsored by XYZ. I'm like, that'd be cool. Don't get me wrong. That would be cool. I would love to do more of helping people as a full-time job. But, you know, like, it's, as long as it helps somebody, it can be just one person, doesn't matter. But as long as that one is being helped or challenged or just having them reset their mind a little bit, that's a win. And that's more or less what we do it for. Tying it all back into place, like how we were brought up and what sort of trials and tribulations we've been through, however long we've been in the system. And then there's guys out there who probably have been feeling it and just haven't had the voice to really put it into words, or they've just been so shut down that they just don't care no more. And
you can't do that. You can't let their voices be diminished. You can't allow people, especially in this industry, to just go unheard. They need a voice,
right?
Even if it's an angry voice, you gotta let them speak because they have something to say.
Right.
Well, I think a big issue in this industry, just in general, as a mechanic, from the mechanic standpoint, is that you feel, at least I've felt this way, and I'm sure most aircraft mechanics have, aircraft maintenance engineers, you're included.
It's all the same, dude. We're wrenches. Come on.
I know. I'm meaning. You feel very invisible a lot of times. Like it can feel. You feel kind of like a backdrop or like a.
Yes.
I don't know. You're not. You feel very
irrelevant.
Irrelevant. People they see everybody else, and you're just like this invisible force, but so crucial to the whole thing. And so I think what's nice about making the content for me, for regardless of like any other circumstance, especially just as an aircraft mechanic, is it's like, hey, look, we exist. This is a thing that exists, and people, you know, when I get a lot of like other people that work as mechanics in the industry, and they reach out to me and they're like, dude, I was so stoked to see an aircraft mechanic. And you're like, yeah, you know, because
it's a good feeling, isn't it?
You're like, look at this. This is a whole thing that we do.
Yeah. And the other coolest part is, Max, it's you get to respond and talk to people, and they're your brothers and sisters. They really are.
Yeah.
You pick up a message and you're like, hey, I worked on that, or hey, I worked on this, or people that are in the military. Hey, this, that, the other, and you relate, and it's like, because they are your brothers, they are your sisters.
It's
no matter
nice
what,
being able to like have people feel that they're represented in the world, even if it's just on a stupid video on the internet, you know?
What
exactly. They do for a living is like,
it's relevant.
It is, right? Exactly.
So I hate to do this right now, but I'm going to go down this path. It's pretty sad to see what some people get paid to do this job.
Yeah.
No, it is. Yeah, absolutely.
It is. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, you shouldn't be making $25 an hour to fix a flying machine.
I was making $18. I was making $18 an hour when I was working on the Q400.
Right.
I was
right.
When I started, Brent. This is way back. What was it? $16 an hour.
I was about to say, like, an hour. I was about to say, since you said way back, I was like, 14? I was like, that was real. I was really lowballing it just because you said, like, well, this is back in the day, like 14. That's still that's crap. Don't get me wrong, that's crap, but
no, but that's what it was. That's what it was back then. But it's different now. It's different now.
I think with what all of the aircraft mechanics are doing right now in social media, I think social media is the key. It might not happen quickly, but it'll happen eventually to break us out of that mold, because it'll show the world, and that's who we have to sell ourselves to, is not to other pilots or nothing, because pilots know what we do. They know exactly what we do.
They know exactly what we do.
Yeah, most pilots I talk to are very supportive of us.
They're very supportive of us, right? But it's the general public that has no idea what we do.
Right.
So with social media, we're exposing ourselves to the world, to the people that are not accustomed to seeing this stuff.
Right.
And I think as this becomes more prominent, it might have an effect on how we're viewed, how we're compensated. And that's my hope. That's my thought, you know. And,
and you are absolutely correct. And let me add to what you just said. Let me just staple something to the back end of this, and let me say something to every single aircraft maintenance technician, engineer out there. And I hope you are all listening. Let's stick together for once, yeah?
100%.
Stop talking trash. Stop being negative towards each other. For once. And this is the biggest downfall of aircraft maintenance, honestly. This is the biggest downfall. We don't support each other. Like, obviously, our friends here, we all support each other, but all in all, the big general scope, start supporting each other.
100%.
Stand as one. If you stand as one, you will be recognized as one. And believe it or not, you'll be recognized, and people will see that aircraft maintenance is what makes aircraft fly.
Right.
We always say it. We fix, you fly.
Right.
You gotta be in unison.
We're brothers, all of us. No matter what language, license, we all work on the same airplanes. You know, like the Boeing 737 here is in Canada, it's the same in the US, it's the same in Malaysia. It's the same airplane.
Skydraw burns all of our eyes the same.
Yes.
Lovely, yes.
Yes.
We all breathe the lovely Jet A.
Exactly. I hate the smell of Jet A. I hate
Delicious. I would say, man, like I would prefer Jet A over Aeroshell. I'm just saying.
I would too. No, I'm with you.
I agree.
Yeah, no, I hate Aeroshell. Aeroshell's my least favorite smell.
You know what, man? Like I
hate it.
I can't top what Stig was saying. Like that right there, man. I think that's a good
100%.
A good point to kind of end ourselves on a high note on that, because it's true. Like we've said it throughout the episode that we're very private. We kind of keep to ourselves, and we tend to try to stump the chump a lot, even though we know enough to help. And just banding together can lead to all sorts of things, like what Brent say, with better compensation, better work conditions, better hours, better everything. And it all starts with us just uniting. You know, I'm picturing like a huge scene, you know, where everyone just kind of puts it down their differences and just kind of like, okay, like we kind of sort of hate each other, but we hate that over there more. You know,
there's got to be a Lord of the Rings reference for that.
Yes.
Come on, Max.
Wait.
Oh, I know this one. Wait. My precious.
All the banners.
My precious.
The precious. What? The ring?
You gotta relate this to my precious.
Yeah, I don't know. Less than 6,000 spears. It's less than half we'd hope for. You know, we need all the spears.
You can only hold on to it so long.
King Theoden needed the might of the Rohirrim to break the siege on Minas Tirith.
That's the one. That's the one.
He couldn't have done it. He couldn't have done it had not all of the banners been called.
Next video. Right. Okay, that's it. That's your next video. Your next video.
Maybe.
It's like a red day. A red day.
Ere the sun rises.
I love these guys. I swear to God, I love these guys.
Fourth Yolingus.
Yeah. Any last words, Brent?
No, man. As Stig was saying, I just hope that we can all just stick together, stop bringing each other down, support each other. We do the same job, same team. No matter the license, As Max said, Skydraw burns the same.
Yeah.
No matter which eyeball it falls in. So
Absolutely.
That's pretty much it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on the show.
Not a problem. Hey, thank you guys for coming. And hey, let us know what you guys think. Like, what sort of things are going around in your areas? What sort of things that you heard on the show resonate with you? Hey, if you want to challenge us, ask us stuff, or just learn a little bit more about what we do, what we say, hear some of our content, some of that that critical hit gut punching. There's Stig at Stig Aviation, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, all the likes, all the same username. There's Airplane Facts with Max, likewise with Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, right?
Yeah, Twitch. I just started streaming.
Oh, dude, I subscribed to your Twitch. I've been watching your. Sorry, I know I'm messing your whole thing up over here, but
nah, dude, you're good.
Go watch it. Go watch Max's Twitch, man. That stuff is just fun to watch. Sorry, I'm gonna shut up.
No, man, it's all unscripted and unfiltered and fun. And then, as Brent said, Instagram, mostly Instagram at Total Aviation. And then there's always us. You can hit us up on our email, our website, Instagram, whichever is the easiest for you. The absolute best way to get a hold of us and have conversations like this is get on our Discord channel. This stuff happens all the time. We get challenged. We give some advice, have some advice heard, share some memes that are a little bit too beyond PG of what social media would allow us to. So head on over those. Let us know what y'all think. On that note, hey, we thank you all for listening, and we'll see you all on the next one. Take care, everybody.
Later.
See ya.
Later.
We would like to take this time to thank our patrons for supporting our show and allowing us to make episodes, maintain our gear, and create merch for all of our listeners. With special thanks to Erica Lamont, Chris Hawkins, Eric Shaw, Dan Schubert, Ryan Frushauer, Kyle Keir, Mike Sherwood, Caleb Stockhill, and Jennifer Brofer. Thank you all so much for your support and patronage. If you like our show, please support us on Patreon. You'll receive awesome perks like access to our private Discord, discounts and early access to our merch, first glimpse of our comics and other projects, and so much more. You can further support us and show off your prowess as an aircraft specialist by visiting our shop at cancelformaintenance.com. If you like classy or rugged watches, visit our affiliate Rockwell Time at rockwelltime.com. Use the code CX4MX to save 10% off your total order. If you have suggestions for the show or you'd like to be a guest on the show, send us a line on our contact us section at cancelformaintenance.com, and we'll do what we can to get both your ideas and yourself on the show. Please support us on social media like Facebook at Cancel for Maintenance, Instagram at CANX for Maintenance Podcast, or Twitter at CXMX Podcast. Please check out our new comic series on the Tapas app. Like, share, subscribe, and comment on our comics. Let us know what you think. Thank you all so much for your support and listenership, and we will catch you all next time.